Hello, hello, good morning. Is anybody here? Good morning, sunshines. Hello, hello. I see a couple folks.
Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, sunshine. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Happy
Did you
Monday.
have a nice weekend?
I did. I did. We had a great weekend, actually. Thank you. How was yours?
It was nice. It was
Good.
good.
Fantastic. All right, let me grab the link for this document. Please hold. All right. I don't know where everybody is this morning. Apparently they forgot it's Monday, but I'm glad that you guys are here. Thanks for being here. I don't know where everybody else is. All right, let me throw the link to this in. All right, so this week, let me make sure nobody's trying to get in here and not listen to me. Let's see. This week's topic is sponsorship with returns. What I really want to talk about this week is can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I get asked all the time to sponsor things, like just like we hit up our lenders and our title people to sponsor all kinds of things. Like, we get asked to sponsor all kinds of things. Everyone's always trying to hit us up for money. They think we have billions of dollars to sponsor things. But what I want to make sure that you are very good at is evaluating these opportunities and making sure that you actually would get a return on your investment. So I want to talk about a few things that I have found to be effective in terms of what I choose to sponsor, and then just kind of some best practices to make sure that you're getting a return on your money. Before I can even talk about that, though, I have to ask you a question, and whether or not you know the answer to this will determine whether or not you're really ready to take on a sponsorship, which is, how much would you pay to acquire a new client? What does that acquisition of a new client cost for you? Have you calculated what you're willing to spend to get a new client? Or a lot of you run bare bones businesses, and what I mean by that is you don't want to spend any money on your business. And I get that, but that's not typically how you grow your business. You have to spend some money in marketing or promotion or activities or events or whatever to be able to make a return on your money as well. So what my question for you is, how much would you pay to acquire a new client? So I want you both to think about that for a minute, since you're the only two here at the moment. I have to pick on both of you. Tell me what you think you would spend. How much are you willing to spend to pick up a new client? Zero?
I don't know, maybe $100. That's probably not enough, right?
No, for some people, $100 is more than enough, more than what they would spend. Everybody has their own threshold. That's why it's all your unique business, right? You get to choose for yourself, how much am I willing to spend? There are some agents that spend a $15 pop buy once a quarter and add that up for the year. That's their acquisition cost, whatever that is. But you should have an idea of how much you are willing to spend in order to acquire a new client. So I'm going to say that first. If your answer is 0, Holly, what was your answer? How much would you spend to acquire a new client?
I was gonna say 100 as well.
100. Okay. Well, 100's not a bad price, but I want you to think of, is it realistic for you to spend $100? Like, what can you do for $100 to drum up opportunities or to get opportunities for a new client? Is $100 enough to cover that? It might be. There's some agents out there that are giving Zillow $5,000 a month and they get 3 leads. Each one of those leads costs them $1,200 or $1,300, right? So their acquisition cost is a lot higher, but their conversion rate might also be higher because they're actually dealing with people who are looking and ready to buy right now, right? So your acquisition costs and how much it costs me to actually get a new client should be directly related to how much money do you anticipate making from it. So like, for example, if we farmed a neighborhood and it costs us, you know, $1,000 to mail letters and postage 2 or 3 times to this neighborhood, but I got 1 listing out of it, the cost of that activity cost me $1,000, but that 1 client, I'm going to make how much money off of it, off of that 1 listing. So some of you are, and I want to remind you too that y'all, you need tax deductions. You are self-employed. You have to have deductions to offset the money that you're making. And that means you have to spend money. You cannot be, frugal Freddy and spend no dollars to run your business and think that you're going to get somewhere running your business on a zero balance budget, right? I know, Holly, you have an amazing personality and people will just flock to you for free. You don't have to spend any money. I totally get it. They just love you and want to be around you, so you don't have to spend a dime. But I do want to encourage you, like, if you are going to spend money in your business, you need to make sure that there is a return on it. You need to make sure that it's in line with who you're trying to attract. Don't get caught up with these phone calls, because we get caught up with them every day, of people trying to solicit us to sponsor various things that have no return. I have people that call me all the time and ask me, do I want to be on the grocery cart or the golf scorecard, or do I want to advertise in the neighborhood, monthly newsletter or something like that? Well, all of those have costs associated to them. And what is the likelihood that someone's going to be pushing their grocery cart through Kroger and go, you know what? I see this lady's face on the grocery cart every day. I think I want to buy a house. I think I'll call her. That's not going to happen. Some guy is marking his scorecard on the golf course. Unless you are specifically a golf course expert, I have never seen where anybody actually got business out of being on the golf scorecards unless they're an active member in that club. They play in the club all the time. People know who they are and they specialize in golf communities. So don't waste your money on things like that. That's not where your target person probably is, right? So we want to make sure, is it in line with who you're trying to attract? What is your rate of return going to be? Are you going to get anything out of it? Is it in line with the people that are going to see it? Are they your target client to begin with? So some of the most common things that agents sponsor would be like their kids' little league team, or like their kids' swim team, or something that their kid is already participating in, right? Oh my gosh, never mind that. Something that their kids are already participating in, something that they're already there for. We want to make sure that, you're sponsoring things that actually are going to make you money and are going to attract the kind of clients you want to work with. If your target client is not young families with young kids, sponsoring your kids' T-ball is not really going to get you the kind of client you're wanting to work with, right? Same thing if you're trying to specialize in new construction, hosting some, investment class isn't going to get the person that's looking for new construction. So first of all, I think you need to have an idea. How much am I willing to spend to acquire a new client? And if you already know that amount, you already know that number, and you say, yep, $100 is it for me. That's the max I'm willing to spend to get a new client. Then I would ask you, where are you spending that $100? How are you spending it? because you can make $100 stretch pretty far to have an impact over the whole year. But if you were to say, I could spend $200 on this client, how would that look any different? Would you elevate the level of interaction you have with them? Would you send them nicer gifts? Would you be able to spend more intimate time with them? What does that look like? And then would the referrals be better referrals? Would they be? So I'm not saying that the cheaper you are, the less exciting your stuff is or your people are, but I'm just planting the seed that is the amount that you've allocated towards new client acquisition enough to make the impact that you want it to. Okay. So big things that a lot of agents sponsor would be like charity fundraisers or sports tournaments or festivals. I will tell you a lot of times, like when I was in South Carolina, they have a water festival every summer. It's like practically a 10-day festival where there's something every single night. And when I was operating my business there, of course, sponsoring the water festival was, that was a lot of eyeballs because there were like, I don't know, 350,000 people coming down every day for water festival down to the waterfront park. My logo was everywhere. My banner was everywhere. It was prominent. It was printed on the tickets, all kinds of things. But that sponsorship was very expensive. Did I actually get any clients out of that? The answer is no. No one actually called and said, I saw your banner. I even had TV commercials. Like I had commercials running on the local news, like sponsoring the water festival with my name, my logo, everything. And I never got one call from that. And I paid thousands of dollars to spend, to be prominently one of the sponsors of that festival. So my advice to you is, unless you have lots and lots and lots of money to burn, stay away from the bigger festivals that are big tickets. Use more of your smaller community festivals. Like maybe there's a community event that is more in line with what you're trying to do, but stay away from some of the larger tournaments, the larger festivals, unless you've just got millions of dollars to burn. Seminars and workshops are pretty easy. You can host educational seminars like a home buyer's workshop, a home seller's workshop, an investment workshop, just getting started in investing, something like that. You're the expert. You get to draw in people, but ask people what they want. The only thing I would tell you about sponsorship of this kind, where it's educational, is you don't always have to be the one that's giving the actual lecture. You don't always have to be the one that's hosting the class. You're just sponsoring it. You don't have to actually give all the education. You could hire a speaker to come in. So if it's something like meet my financial advisor, meet my accountant, meet my whatever, ... Remember, you don't have to be the one on the stage. But when you are hosting something like this, I have found in my experience, you're going to get more return out of it if you actually give yourself the opportunity to talk during the event. Right? So you're going to get more out of it. You're going to make more connections with people if you are actually doing some of the education or some of the talking through the event. I've spent a lot of money in online ads, just online advertising in general. What I typically like to find are sites where there aren't other realtors that are promoting it. So, for example, another example in South Carolina was I was there about 4 years. That is it has 3 military bases all within like a few miles of each other. And so there was a website called militarybuyowner.com, which is a site that still I advertise on for Clarksville. If I have a rental or if I have a listing out there, I will still advertise on that website. But my point to you is that this website actually still exists and still is a great play if I was trying to catch military buyers. But my point is I sponsored on the main banner there on all the 3 bases that were near my market because nobody had ever done that. Nobody was advertising on it. So I was able to be the only realtor on those 3 bases because nobody else was marketing there. So my advice to you is, if you are going to seek to sponsor an online ad somewhere, that you pick a site that gives you exclusivity, but also has reach. That's actually how I built a lot of my businesses, through the sponsorship on militarybuyowner.com. I got a lot of click-through links on my website from the military by owner. So is there somewhere that you can sponsor an online ad somewhere, or a Google ad, or some type of social media ad that would get you a wider audience? All right, so talking about local sports teams. I loved when my kid was younger, he played 5 sports. Of course, we were on a ball field, on in a gym, or on a basketball court our whole lives while he was growing up. But I loved the opportunity to sponsor some of his teams, to their uniforms or equipment or tournaments that they went on or things like that. But here's what I will tell you from experience. Getting your name on the shirt is not going to get you business. Having your name on the back of your kid's baseball shirt, or their swim team caps, or whatever they're participating in, their gymnastics things, and you have a banner in the back of the gym, that is actually not going to get you business. You have to be very active in the team. You have to be active with the children. You have to host the end of the year party. You have to host the beginning of the season party. You cannot just hang a banner. If you drive past any of these high schools, like Centennial High School in Franklin, the soccer field has all these banners of all these people that are sponsored. There's like 9 realtors with a banner out there. That's great. How many of them do you think are actually getting any calls from those banners? None. It's just because their kid probably plays on the team, or they thought it was a great opportunity to sponsor the school. But I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to be very choosy about where I give my money. And I'd rather actually take that money and feed the team 3 times a season, or take that money and support the coach in getting some other things. Maybe they need a workshop with a pro soccer player that would come in or something. That'd be a better way to support the team than just a banner, right? What ways can you support the team that are impactful rather than just a banner with your name on it, or your name on the t-shirt? Okay, don't do that. You're just wasting your money. I will tell you the home buyer and seller incentives. So if you can put together a bundle with and I've talked about this many, many times, but you can put together a bundle where you have a moving company that gives a discount for all your clients. You have a home inspector that gives a Ring doorbell. You have an insurance guy that gives a $200 Nest camera or a thermostat or something. Like, you have people who are contributing various things, and you put together a bundle, which is like, for my VIP clients, here's what I'm offering discounts on. And that could be any tangentially related businesses that you know you're going to use throughout the transaction, that you are setting up some discounts in advance with. Okay. Home renovation shows is a big one that a lot of agents will try to sponsor. So like, you'll see, there's a big thing at the Music City Center, usually 2 or 3 times a year. It's like in the fall they have one, in the winter and spring, beginning of summer they have one. And a lot of times people will have booths at these home renovation shows or bridal shows or something like that. A bridal show is a great thing to sponsor because it's a very specific market. That's a life event that is usually followed up by some type of, someone's moving in together, or maybe they're going to buy a house in the future together, right? So bridal shows have been great ones to also sponsor, but you want to make sure that you have a great follow-up plan to capture those brides or those grooms and offer a discount, offer an incentive, offer a consultation, offer whatever it is. Or maybe you offer something that's wedding tangentially related. So for example, maybe you have a really good friend who's a makeup artist. Would you love it if would you like it if I connected you with my makeup artist and see if she can do a practice run for your big day or something like that? But you can connect people. Remember, you're the community connector. How can you connect people in the wedding industry to these potential brides or grooms? That's a way that you can sponsor with more impact, more than just having your banner at the event or a booth at the event. Print media, obviously, for one of my clients who lives in Missouri, print media is still a big deal to her. A lot of her target clients still read the newspaper. So she still advertises in the newspaper. I would not recommend advertising in the newspaper for any modern agent today in Nashville. That's pointless. But there are online platforms and websites and online places. So you guys know I'm obsessed with Asheville, North Carolina. I read every day a website called AVL Today, and they have them for all over the country. So there's one that's Nashville Today. It's like Nash Today or something like that. But it's a daily website that comes out that gives people information about what's happening in your city. It gives information about upcoming events. It gives information about fundraisers, about concerts, about what all things are going on. But those types of websites have sponsorship opportunities available where you can have a banner, or you can actually sponsor that month's events in the community or something like that. Those are opportunities for you to promote your business in a place where people are already looking, but maybe they're not necessarily looking for real estate information. Real estate fairs and expos. We've already talked about those. Those are where you're going to find potential buyers and sellers, but you really have to have a very good booth. It has to be very well planned. It has to be something that is eye-catching and engaging for people to want to stop by and talk to you. You have to have things to give away that people want, not just pens, and not just stickers, but things for their kids, things for, for whatever the event is that they're there for. But I would just tell you, if you can plan in advance for any type of things, you can get leverage out of sponsorship of those things. So another example would be, minding your expectations. So I took my Coach Crate to the National Association of Realtors National Convention in San Diego last year, or 2 years ago. And of course, that was supposed to be 50,000 realtors that I was presenting my Coach Crate to, which is a great opportunity for sponsorship. But I did not actually sell more than 5 crates at the actual event, which was eye-opening for me. I thought, surely I'm going to prepare all these crates in advance. I'm going to show it to them. People can touch it and feel it and look at it, and they're going to want to sign up that day. And then I'm going to have all these customers. The same thing with your business. When you are hosting an event like that where people are coming through and you're expecting them to all sign up, you better have something good to attract them, to engage them. What is it that you're offering that they want? Is it something that they need? For me, it was more about exposure of my company than selling the Coach Crates. That's often what we tell ourselves. Well, if I got exposure out of it, then it was worth it. But the reality is that no, we need a client out of it. We need a customer that wants to buy or sell a house out of it, right? So don't give yourself that excuse like, hey, we just need, I just want to get exposure for my business. What I'm looking for is a client that is actually looking to buy or sell a house within the next so many days. So make sure that you are asking enough questions when you are getting asked to sponsor things. Ask how many people will be in attendance. What kinds of things can I bring to prepare for that event? What kinds of things can I, what kind of things can I have on hand that you think that they'll really like? But ask lots of questions about what the expectation is. And again, make your booth as interesting as possible. You can't just have a table and a banner and think people are going to come flock to you. People like to spin wheels. They like games. They like those kinds of things. They also like good swag. So partner with somebody to get some swag. If you don't want to spend the money yourself, partner with somebody to get some great swag that somebody's talking about. Because what happens at trade shows a lot of times is people will be like, where did you get that? Oh, I got it at that booth over there. And then all of a sudden people are flocking to your booth to come get what you had, right? So just make sure you have a plan for what you're going to plan to have there. One of the things that I like to sponsor more than anything else, I'm very community driven in terms of raising funds for things or helping out some of the marginalized people. But one of my favorites is back to school. Is the easiest thing to sponsor. Is I don't know if you guys have seen this trend. You'll have to tell me if you have so far, but there is a clear the list, a hashtag clear the list, which is people joining in to help clear teachers' wish list before they go back to school. And so you actually can post on social media, hey, let's help out some of our local teachers, supply their classrooms for things they need throughout the year. If you know a teacher, please tag them below. I will choose 1 teacher or 5 teachers, however many you want to choose, by August 5th, and let's help clear their lists, right? People love to join in and think that they're helping their community. You could get a lot of these teachers' wish lists taken care of or paid for. And then imagine the loyalty you get from that teacher for helping her classroom or his or her classroom get supplied with the things that they need. There are also things throughout the year. So I love, instead of just sponsoring or putting things in the teachers' mailboxes, teachers have always been a great source of business referrals for me. It's probably because I have been one, so I understand, you know, kind of like their work schedule and what they need. But I have always loved sponsoring the back to school lunch that the schools do for the teachers. Sometimes you can do a breakfast. Sometimes you can do, you know, like the school board also usually donates money to certain teachers. They submit their lists, and the school boards, the various PTAs will donate things on the money towards the things on the teacher's list. Sometimes you can sponsor those things. You can contact the PTA and say, do you have any lists that you were unable to fulfill last year? Right. But don't forget about your teachers, your principals, things like that. Find a way to get in the school, find a way to be able to give back to the teachers, find a way. The same thing with good, Holly, I love this. Find a way that you can be present in the school and get the most maximum exposure to the people. So when I say exposure, I mean like, how do I get to talk to the teachers? And I don't want to just show up and serve them pancakes. Do I have the opportunity to actually get to talk to them at all? Do I, you know, while I'm serving pancakes, can I walk around and sit down with them? Can I ask them how their school, you know, is there anything that they need for the year? But I promise you guys, if you tell me I would be willing to spend $100 to acquire a new client, think of how you can break that $100 up, and what ways can you love on these people that's going to be memorable and impactful, right? And make a real difference in the kids' classrooms, right? I don't want you just to strike a check to the teacher. I want you to promote it. I want you to get your network on board and say, yo, let's clear the list. These teachers should not have to pay their own money to decorate their classrooms or provide supplies that the kids need in the one of the wealthiest counties in the state. It's ridiculous, right? But you can get people on board with that. You can get people that will help you. But there is a hashtag that says clear the list. You can start that anytime and say, by this date, nominate the teachers in your life. I'm going to choose one teacher or 5 teachers, or however many you're going to choose. And we're going to donate some things to clear their list, their wish list for back to school. I've also done community events where we sponsor back to kids school drive. So there are a lot of people, even though we live in the wealthiest county in, or, you know, we live in one of the wealthiest counties in Tennessee. The reality is that there's a lot of schools that are still hurting, and a lot of families that don't have a lot of money to buy back to school supplies every year. And so I always do a community school supply drive, just like the food drive that I do all over the community. I do the same thing with school supplies. Drop off some folders, drop off a backpack, drop off some pens and paper and whatnot. But then we drop those off to a school that needs them, and then the teachers can distribute them as they want. But people love to get on board with that. People love to help sponsor local schools. They love to give, especially if they don't have kids in school anymore. It's kind of nostalgic. The back to school time is also great. And I can't believe your Nugget's about to start kindergarten. Are you just beside yourself, Holly? You probably are. Yeah, I know. I know. Kindergarten was hard. It was really hard. But what's even worse is the first day of college. Let me just tell you, it's actually worse, way worse when you drop them off at college than kindergarten, I promise you.
Well, at least she knows where the period in the sentence goes.
Oh God, she had the worst teacher ever. Um, so one day I was doing coaching with her, Cindy, and she was writing. She brought her daughter with her because it was still during the summer, and she was writing in her book. And I was like, "Hey, those are sentences. You have to have a period after at the end of each sentence." Well, then she just wanted to put a period after every word. So I was like, "Man, this is why I don't teach elementary school." And everyone who knows
That's funny.
high school is where it's at for me, or college. Elementary is not for me. But yes, at least she knows there's supposed to be a period after every word, I guess. But fire that teacher. Anywho, I just want you to be more thoughtful about, where can I invest my money, and am I investing it in a place where it's attracting the people I want to work with, And is that budget realistic to actually acquire that client? Or is this a one-time thing? And that's really not enough impact to really gain their trust and loyalty. In terms of how you choose what you want to sponsor, you actually need to choose sponsorships that align with your target audience, right? And your local market. You want to set measurable goals. So how am I going to measure the return of my investment? Do not fall into that trap of, well, at least it gives me exposure for my business. There's no return in that. You cannot measure exposure for your business unless you get a client. You cannot measure whether or not somebody saw your name or your logo or your information unless you get a return phone call out of it or someone contacts you. So measuring needs to be something you can actually count, something you can measure the effectiveness of the investment. Don't just throw money at it because it gives you exposure. Okay. Brand visibility is important, but again, unless it's getting you clients, it's not really doing the job. You should have an opportunity to engage with the audience, whatever that looks like. Don't just drop off donations without making it public, without doing a press release, without, engaging some kind of eyeballs on it. You might as well get some longevity out of the event and be able to use it to promote your business. Don't be afraid to brag about something good you're doing. If you're helping the community and you're donating things, time, energy, money, whatever, let people know. It's okay to brag about helping the community. It doesn't make you a chest pounder. It makes you somebody who's proud of the fact that they're giving of themselves to their community. And you deserve accolades and recognition for that. Don't be afraid to do a press release for it. Follow up. This is where the power in everything you do is. Follow up after the sponsorship. Follow up with the leads and connections made during the event. Nurture potential clients and maintain existing relationships. Track your return on your investment. Analyze the data collected. If you've been sponsoring something every year for 7 years and you haven't gotten a single client out of it, stop sponsoring it. You're not actually analyzing whether or not that money's working for you. Every year I put a source code on all of my transactions. Where did these people come from? When I'm looking at my budget for the next year, I'm looking at it to see where I spend my money. Did I get clients out of? If the answer is no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to keep spending my money that way. But you have to track it and actually see, is this the right future sponsorship for me to continue doing? You should be using online platforms and social media to extend the reach of sponsorships and engage with a broader audience. So again, are you using digital media? Are you using your social media to shout out from the rooftops what you're doing, to get more eyeballs on it, to get more attention, to get more sponsors, to get help clearing the lists? Are you collaborating with any other partners? Are there any other businesses or organizations for co-sponsorship? So this one I loved very much. We a couple years ago, my office wanted to buy me a really nice like spa gift card or something I would never use because I'm horrible about loving on myself. But I just told them, like, I would prefer you not buy me something for Christmas. I noticed that they were spending like $400 and $500 to get me a gift for Christmas, which is really sweet. But I would rather that money go to something else, right? I mean, I would rather them use it for charity or use it for the community. And so I told them, you either feed people with it. So like you can buy a truck of food and feed them through One Gen Away, or let's get suitcases for foster kids. And we were able to buy 72 suitcases with that money that they were going to use to buy me a gift card to some salon or something. We promoted the fact that we were collecting money to buy suitcases for foster kids, and a corporation saw what we were doing, and their leadership team waived all of their gifts for Christmas and joined in and bought and donated suitcases for our cause. We didn't even actually ask them. They called us and said, we saw what you're doing and we want to join in and we want to help, which I loved. It really warmed my heart to be able to drop off all those suitcases to this foster home where the kids show up with their belongings in a trash bag. That's not fair, right? They should not have to put their stuff in a trash bag everywhere they go. And the fact that we were able to donate 72 suitcases made me very proud. And the fact that this corporation liked what we were doing enough that they wanted to partner with us, and they basically 10 times our gift by joining us and partnering with us. So are there corporate sponsorships that can help you do what you're trying to do? Especially if your spouses or your friends work at big fortune companies, you have some leverage there that you could be using that you're not. They have way more money to give than you do. Hit them up for it, right? Offer exclusive incentives. We talked about that. You can offer special offers or incentives just for people who take action right there. So like anybody who signs up for a home buyer consultation with me gets a free Ring doorbell. You don't have to buy a house today or tomorrow. Just sit down with me and let me talk to you about it. I'll get you a free Ring doorbell, right? Or somebody who takes advantage of something that you're hosting right away. Is there some incentive that you can give to them, encouraging them to take action today? The biggest thing I will tell you is that no matter what you're doing, sponsorships are a long-term strategy. They are something that yield results over time, but you have to be patient and invest in consistent sponsorship things that actually are geared towards the people you would like to work with. They have to be sponsorships of things that are attracting the person that you're trying to reach in your business, right? But it can have a philanthropic approach to it. It can have a sales approach to it. I mean, not everything you're doing has to be community service related, obviously, but I want to remind you, you get more leverage out of things that are not salesy. You get more leverage out of helping people, and people want to work with people who care about other people, right? So put that sometimes before your thoughts about how you're promoting your real estate business. Promote what you're doing for the community, promote what you're involved in, promote your hobbies and things that have your heart, and you're going to attract the people who care about your heart. You're going to attract the people that want to work with you. They're good people. If you're just trying to sell houses, doing it through sponsorship is not going to work, right? Like if you're just trying to sell houses, sponsorships isn't the way to go. But there's lots of ways. What I want you just to be very, very aware of is you're going to get hit up all the time for sponsorship opportunities. Which ones are the right ones for you and your business? Which ones are the ones that are going to attract the people you're looking for? Your sponsorship cannot be just to get exposure for your business. Your sponsorship must give you access to the people you're doing something for, which means I want a list, I want a database, I want to be able to talk to the people at the event, I want to be able to follow up with them in the future by collecting their information. But you cannot just show up at a one-time event, serve some pancakes, and think that you're going to be their realtor for life. That's not going to work, right? You also cannot hang a banner on your kid's t-ball team and think that every baseball parent out here sees your name 1,000 times a week and that they're going to call you. So be smarter with how you spend your money. But it really goes back to the question that I started at the very beginning of this, which is how much are you willing to spend to acquire a client? And are you spending that money in the right place right now? Or are you spending it for things that you like, but maybe not necessarily what is effective in converting these people into clients? Okay. Any questions about any of this today? I really hope that you guys will check out the hashtag clear the list and see what that's all about. See if you can help some teachers with their lists. Create an opportunity for people to join in and help you get some of those classroom teachers lists filled. Right now, the schools are planning the back to school, luncheons and activities for all the teachers that are coming back. Contact the school. What day is what I'm looking to get involved more with my local schools? What day is there something that I can participate in? How can I volunteer at the school? How can I be more involved? But right now is the opportunity for you to take advantage of and ask, what can I do? What can I start thinking about? What do they have all year that you could be involved in? Is there something you can participate in that will get you in front of? So I have another coaching client that's in Ohio. And she reached out to her local community center, so like the rec center, and said, I want to be more involved in my community. Do you have any sponsorship opportunities available on this level at the community, with this community center? And she got very lucky because the community center sent her. That is so weird to say out loud. The community center sent her. I'm not awake yet. I haven't had coffee. They sent her a whole list of opportunities for the whole year that she could participate in. Some had money attached to it, like a table, like You could rent the table for this. Some had no money attached to it. So there were several events. There were options for her. Like the first day they opened the pool, she could just be on site that day with the table, and she could hand out goggles to the kids and not pay anything to be there. That was an opportunity for her to have visibility, an opportunity for her to engage with all the people. She works specifically with young families. That's who her target clients is. So of course, giving out goggles to the kids at the pool was brilliant. Do you have a community pool in your neighborhood? Do you think maybe getting some branded goggles would be awesome? You could keep in a bucket. Will the pool let you distribute them? Could you show up that day that they, could you host a pool party and give out things, right? Or towels or whatever it is you want. I don't really care what you're getting, but I want you to just understand the concept is there a community center, or is there somewhere that you can call and ask, hey, I'm looking to do more volunteer opportunities or be more involved. What are some options available to me? And she was given a whole list of access to all these events at this community center. She was the only realtor that they were inviting because she asked. Right? So I just want you to think, is there somewhere that I can call and say, what is it that you have available for me to sponsor? What is it that, how can I get involved? Right? And then think about, who is my target client? Are they at this place? And how can I get my face in front of them? Sometimes that's going to be money. Sometimes it's going to be time. Sometimes it's going to be effort, right? Sometimes it's all three, but you get to choose for yourself what you're willing to do. For me, sometimes my effort and my time outweighs what I would have spent money-wise to gain a client, right? Maybe I would have been willing to spend $1,000 to get a client because my average commission is $12,000. My average commission is 25,000, whatever it is, whatever your average price range is. Think about it. So when you tell me your max that you're willing to spend to get a new client is $50 and your normal paycheck is 12 grand, something's not connecting. Right? I'm not saying you need to spend $12,000 to get $12,000. That's stupid. But I am telling you, if your goal is to only spend 50 to make 12 grand, you have a disconnect there somewhere. And I don't know that that's appropriate for what your amount is that you're making. So you need to think about that. Am I spending enough money to attract the people I need? Am I spending any money in the right places? I'm not saying you have to spend, but what I am telling you is, in order to get the exposure that you need to talk to the number of people that you need to build your business, in order to continue to get referral business, you're going to have to spend some money somewhere. You need to spend it in the right places, right? Places that are impactful, places that are direct to the client. Don't pay all this money to sponsor something that goes to the booth rental, and then you don't have any money left over to give away anything, right? Partner with your corporate clients. What can you give away? What kind of game can you host? What kind of function can you host? Whatever that is. Okay. I would just tell you, look for opportunities that are unique. Your name on a banner is not unique. That is also very reactive. You're waiting for someone to call you by looking at your name and phone number on the banner. You're going to die and collect Social Security before the phone ever rings. I want you to be more proactive in your efforts. And how do I get seen? How do I get access to people? That is going to be in doing, not just paying. Okay. That means show up and serve the pancakes. That means show up and help them decorate their classroom. It means show up or host a happy hour for teachers that first week back to school. They are exhausted. Maybe get a chair massage delivered and set up times for them to come in for 15-minute slots, because that is the worst week of your life. The first week back to school is always the worst week of your life. It's exhausting and tiring, right? You're running on fumes. You're trying to get your body back into a routine of being back to school. But think about, are there ways that you can love on teachers? Teachers are easy, but you can take that same thing and apply it to cops. You can apply it to firemen. You can apply it to anybody in your community, the elderly. You can apply it to, daycares. You can apply it to any group that you want if those are your target clients. But just think about, who am I trying to reach? What kind of access can I get to them? What does my follow-up look like? And how do I engage with them while I'm on site in a meaningful, impactful way that makes me memorable? What kind of things can I give them to make them remember me? It's just got to go a lot farther than your name on the t-shirt and a banner on the fence. Okay. Next week, we are talking about the art of pop buys, which is always fun. I'm going to give you tons of ideas. I'm even going to give you a planner that will help you plan out for the year. Basically what your pop buys should be. Step up your game on pop buys if you're not doing any. If you've done one already this year or two this year, I mean, we're in the third quarter, so my guess for you is you should have already done well, we're not in are we in the third quarter yet? We're not quite there, almost. August, yeah, we're getting there. But you should have a thought of, okay, coming into the last part of the year, which Popeyes am I going to do? Which ones are going to be most impactful? Am I going to do Popeyes at all? But I'm basically going to teach you the art of Popeyes, how often you should do them, what kinds of things you should put in there. Do you just drop them off? Do you mail them? How do you go about doing it? So we'll just talk about, they are very effective in terms of building loyalty with your past clients or your sphere. But we're going to talk about upping your game a little bit next week on Popeyes. Okay. Anybody have anything for me? Thank you too for being here. I appreciate it. That was work getting out of bed for my long to-do list today, but I'm glad I got to see your faces. Holly, you need to send me your schedule for the week so that we can get you on that schedule this week, please.
Yes. Yes. Can I ask you a question really quick
Yes.
while you're here?
Of course.
I guess it's not a question. It's more of a statement.
Sure.
So you remember my nightmare of 2 listings to buy 1 house?
Yes. They're back.
The daughter called me yesterday. Yeah, the daughter called me yesterday. I haven't spoken to her since we terminated everything, and the daughter's going to end up moving in with the mom, and they want to just sell the daughter's place.
Okay.
So she was like, "Let's do this." I was like,
Okay.
"Okay, this is what I wanted to do the first time anyway." But yeah, this is great. So
sometimes they just have to come to the decision on their own, like the timing maybe just wasn't right before, they hadn't wrapped their head around it. But I will tell you, Holly, you busted your ass to get that done. You busted your rear end, and you would have gotten it done. I really truly believe you would have like done the impossible, because that's who you are. You would have done it. But now you don't have that same amount of stress. You can just do one at a time, and maybe the daughter will get on board with actually showing. Because I think, you know, if you can sell the daughters, we already know the mom's unit is sellable because we already had that, right? Like we know the mom's unit is sellable. So you've got this.
Yeah.
You got it. You need to, I told you didn't order enough signs.
Paperwork. I know. I literally, like, I have one here, and it's going out later this week.
Okay. All right. I told you you didn't order enough signs. Not having enough signs is not a bad problem. That's good. So you are going to have to redo your paperwork though. Just go back into the loop and change the dates for everything and just rerun comps and make sure numbers have it.
That was really the only question.
Yeah, you're gonna have to redo it just because they've already signed it. Cool. Dates that it goes on the market are different, and you just want to check your prices and make sure nothing's changed since then. But look at you go, girl. Get it. Proud of you. But you also handled them with grace, even when you were frustrated, even when you wanted to go over there and burn the house down. I didn't say that out loud, but I'm just saying you didn't do all those things. So I mean, that's why they called you back, right? You handled yourself professionally. Right. You did blow up. And you handled it with grace, which is why you're still the person they're choosing to work with. So I'm proud of you. Good job. I mean, I might have gotten the gas can out, so I get it, you know. But you look nice and tan. I need some sun in my life because I want to be as tan as Holly. But I haven't seen the sun in 3 damn days.
Come to the pool with me.
I should. Yeah, me too.
I should. Was there anything I talked about today that you guys wrote down that you're like, oh, that's a good idea? Did you have a takeaway from today?
It's the teacher thing. Like, I'm about to be in that world. So,
yeah.
And I'm accessible, obviously, here at the moment. So,
no, that's awesome. You just need to think about how you want to, where can you make the most impact, because you're already there, right? So it's like, what do they need?
Right.
That's going to get the most attention, right? Cindy, did you have a comment or anything?
Whoops, I took myself off. Yeah, I liked the part about bundling with other businesses, you know, for VIP clients. And then collaborating with some other businesses and partners.
Good. Especially think about you, Schneider Electric, like they have so much
Yes.
money. Like if you really wanted to put power behind one of your community service efforts and you wanted to really do a drive or something, you could contact somebody at Schneider Electric and get more money donated towards that. You could get them on board as a corporate thing. Would anybody be interested in helping donate supplies or clearing the teachers list or whatever? Their companies are always looking for ways to give back to the community in which they hold their offices. So I think you have an opportunity ahead of you. You just have to think about what do you want to do, right? But I love it.
Yeah, and I definitely liked the clear the list, you know, for back to school for
Same.
teachers, especially with my daughter being a teacher. She's been having to spend her own money to get her classroom ready.
I agree with you. I'm watching all of my friends. That's the other part that's real exciting about it. If you do have friends in your feed, get them. Hey, do you have a teacher that has a list? Tag them, tag your friends in this post, and I will select one teacher, you know, by such and such date, or 5 teacher, however many you want to select. But I mean, that also helps you build your list of other teachers that you can help out throughout the year. I've also done teachers have wish lists. There's a I forget the name, and I'll have to look it up for you guys, but teachers often put these projects that they have, like I forget what it's called, but one year this teacher she had a lot of special needs kids, and she wanted to buy these little seats that the kids sat on or something like that, but something the district would not pay for. But there's tons of opportunities like this on this website where basically the teacher pitches the idea. They tell you what the budget is. The students all write letters asking for the things, and we cut a check for whatever her thing was like $380 or whatever. And then she later had the kids write thank you notes to us. They sent us pictures of them using the things. I would much rather spend my money in things like that that I know people need, that I at least made an impact on my community, than dropping off burritos at the fire station. You know, that's not really the same to me. You know, I would rather do something that's more impactful. So think about ways that you can clear the list. Think of ways that you can help get some of the lists. Use the power of your network, the power of your companies that you are connected with to help you get some of these things connected. The bundle is a great way. You just ask them, hey, do you have any discounts or services that you can offer every one of our VIP clients? Like I said, our moving company gives a discount. Your inspector might give a Nest camera or a Ring doorbell. Your insurance guy might give a Nest thermostat or a Ring doorbell, something like that. You know, just think about your title person might give you a title discount. You just have to think about what you're doing and ask for, like, what discount can you provide? Especially if you've got like a local pizza shop or something, would you donate a free dinner for these people on move-in day or something? Like, that's $25. They don't care. This person's moving to the community. They might be their favorite pizza place for life now. But you just have to ask, right? Just put it together and ask, what can you give to my VIP clients? Okay. I'm glad you guys were here. Let me know if you think of anything. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're doing. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, 10 o'clock. I will see you both before then, obviously. Cindy, I have to make a call to Kathy first to find out what she's doing, and then I will call you about your multifamily CMA. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And then
Give me a call when you're ready.
Yeah, when are you meeting with, when does Morales want you to come meet him again? Was it on Friday?
Well, it was Friday. He said he would get back to me if there was another time, but I haven't heard back from him. So he was starting nights this week.
Okay.
And that's why he said ask for Friday.
Okay. That's fine. I can make it happen. It's just I have my in-laws, and that is the day of her dinner party.
I know. I asked him if there was another day. I'll text him.
Well,
Since he's working
you
nights.
may not even need me.
Because I don't want to wake him up.
No, that's fine. Just let me know. I'll call you when I'm done with Kathy, and I'll call you shortly. Holly, send me dates or which days you want to meet this week. Thanks guys for being here, and I will talk to you both soon and see you next week. Okay. Go get them, Tiger.
Thank you, Laura.
All right. See you later.
Bye.